February 2023, California. A snowstorm is in full force on Interstate 80. In 24 hours, 60 centimeters of snow has fallen, making the road impassable. Joe is the manager of a repair service company and has just been called to an emergency. There's been an accident 5 kilometers from Donner Pass.
Might just be somebody who slid off the road and got a flat tire or bumped their fender, or we could show up and it could be a vehicle down a slope, upside down.
During winter, 30,000 vehicles use this section of Interstate 80. The slightest accident can immediately create traffic jams for several kilometers. Joe is expecting a pileup involving several vehicles, but the reality is more surprising. A snowplow has broken down and is blocking all the traffic, a real predicament.
So even Caltrans with their big snowplows can get stuck in this kind of snowstorm.
Unfortunately for him, another tow truck arrived more quickly. But Joe isn't going to waste the morning. A policeman calls him over.
You go up there and you come back and you just grab somebody, would you just call us?
Of course.
Know which car it is?
Okay. But now we have accidents and we have other vehicles that are holding that are definitely not going to get moving. So we're going to go help those people out instead of sit here.
Hello.
A driver was reported abandoning his wrecked vehicle a few kilometers further on. Joe has to tow it quickly to prevent accidents. After 10 minutes on the road, he sees the vehicle, a sedan that has slid and hit the side of the road. The panicked driver decided to leave on foot, and for good reason. Their car is completely stuck in the snow.
See if I can back it up a little bit and get it easier in an easier position.
Stuck on an icy surface, it's going to be a tricky operation.
Doesn't look like that's gonna work. Good example of SUV with no snow tires and horrible traction left on the tires that are there.
It'll take Joe some time to finally manage towing the vehicle in these polar temperatures. 1,000 euros is the price of this intervention. An eventful day on Interstate 80, and it's only the beginning. An apocalyptic winter awaits drivers in the American West, the worst snowstorm since 1952. We're all familiar with the Rocky Mountains in the United States, an immense 3,000-kilometer-long mountain range 3 times the size of the Alps. A few hundred kilometers away is the Sierra Nevada, a second mountain range located between California and Nevada. This region is renowned for its breathtaking scenery, its ski resorts, and as the crossing point for many truckers.
So you guys gonna hit this exit right here, turn around, go westbound, put them on, and come back up with them all on, you'll be good to go.
In winter, the region turns into hell for those on the road. The cold and blizzards put thousands of drivers at risk every day.
Oh shit, oh shit!
It's not only icy roads, but also dangerous drivers that cause accidents.
Everybody says the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit don't mean nothing. That's the problem.
The fire brigade watches over the roads. During the winter season, they help out everywhere from minor accidents.
You guys are good? You don't want to go to the hospital at all? I don't think so. You don't want to be checked out?
To spectacular pileups.
Slowly, you start sliding out. People can't move out of the way.
Drivers are required to have their snow chains installed, a regulation that has given rise to a flourishing business.
30 cash and 40 per card.
You can make good money.
$1,000 a day, installing chains, honest, hard work.
In 2023, the American West experienced an exceptional storm. Up to 8 meters of snow on the ground, their third record since 2009. A nightmare for road workers like Pete.
Let's go! Come on!
Faced with hundreds of stranded drivers, he will have to make a radical decision.
When I have to stop because I can't see, it's a good time to close the road.
A blizzard that is as frightening as it is fascinating. It has its special fans, the Stormchasers.
Be careful, it looks like there's a pretty good drift on the left as well.
Men who are ready to take any risk to get the most spectacular photo.
If you do something wrong, you could end up in a drift.
Between overwhelmed repair workers.
Looks like it's been here for a century. It's like pulling Excalibur out. Ah!
And reckless drivers.
The fog was so bad, I had to go like this on the steering wheel.
Immerse yourself in the heart of a historic winter on the dangerous roads of the Sierra Nevada. It's the weekend in California. The ski resorts are bursting with visitors. Americans have been waiting months to enjoy the stunning Sierra Nevada. Like here at Sugar Bowl, the busiest resort in the United States, at an altitude of 2,500 meters above sea level.
We feel really lucky, right? I mean, to be up here on a day like today when it's so nice. It's you know, we're fortunate to live in a place that we can get up here pretty easily. So not have to catch a plane, just get in the car with some patience and make your way here.
However, before one can enjoy skiing the 70 kilometers of slopes, there's a challenge to overcome: the road. There are two possible routes: Interstate 80 to the north or Donner Pass Road to the south, which is notoriously known for its turns and bends. This is one of the snowiest places in the United States. Up the road, drivers are required to put on chains. An easy task for some.
Right now it's not too bad.
A hassle for others, like this family from Los Angeles, 800 kilometers from here.
You know, Matt, it doesn't, something looked like it was going straight up.
Fortunately, another driver came to help. And after a while of hard work, they are relieved.
Got it!
Did it work? Side, yes.
You gotta do it.
Yes. Yay! Now we get these Yeah, these are easy to do. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
However, since one can't rely completely on the goodwill of others, a special service is now available on I-80.
I was gonna say, I've never heard of a front-wheel drive one.
This man is offering to put drivers' chains on for a fee. 28 euros for the two wheels.
So, it's 30 cash, 40 for a card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Front wheel.
It is?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if they're still trying to figure out what they're doing. It could take a long time. I can get it done pretty quick.
And the more you stay on the side of the road, the more dangerous it is, right?
It's true. Yeah, there's some crazy drivers that come through.
This professional fitter has to move fast for his own safety, but also in terms of business, because there's tough competition along the way. On this stretch of road, there are over 200 independent chain fitters offering their service. All are approved by the DOT, the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Awesome, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Might be Cisco, I don't know.
Doug is one of them. For 4 months, he and his team work 7 days a week. It's a business that can make a lot of money.
And you can make good money, $1,000 a day, installing chains, honest, hard work. It's cold out here. You wear really good thermals and a couple layers, and some good rain gear helps too.
Nearly 1,000 euros per day. In winter, they can earn up to 15,000 euros per month, a substantial turnover, provided they have employees who can cope with the harsh weather conditions.
No gloves? You gotta have gloves. Because the metal, it's pretty cold. They get real cold sitting in the snow. And the condition, you know, now the sun come out, it's like Slurpee.
Doug knows that he'll always have customers ready to pay because there's a strict inspection point just a few kilometers away.
All-wheel drive? Are you all-wheel drive? Yeah. Okay, you guys are good to go. Drive safe.
These highway officials form a sort of roadblock. Their weapon is their keen eye. In a few seconds, they spot tires that aren't suitable for snow and therefore need to be fitted with chains, such as the case of this lorry.
Oh, and the tractor right here.
Yeah, and this one.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to hit this exit right here, turn around, go westbound, put them on, then come back up with them all on, you'll be good to go.
This lorry driver cannot continue on his way without installing chains. Otherwise, he'd be risking a fine of up to 745 euros.
If they don't stop, we'll call it in as a chain runner, and CHP will end up either catching up with them or it'll warn the next people up there that somebody doesn't have any chains on.
In this part of California, safety is no laughing matter. This footage shows the risks of driving on snow without chains. Skidding cars, drivers unable to brake on the slippery road, truckers who lose control of their lorry. This lorry is unable to avoid the trailer in front of it. 3 people died in this pileup. Every winter, 200 accidents occur on this stretch of I-80, a statistic that hasn't gone unnoticed by certain professionals. We are in Truckee, a town of 17,000 inhabitants, the closest to Donner Pass. It's a mythical mountain pass in the Sierra Nevada. This is where Joe, a breakdown mechanic, has been running his business since 2004. Every winter morning, he has the same task, clearing away the wrecks of vehicles. Fresh off slippery roads and with unsuitable tires, these damaged cars are the result of careless winter driving. There was one accident that particularly caught the eye of the breakdown mechanic.
Actually had an incident where I had to jump out of the way, and 8 or 9 or 10 cars were crashing, and the customer and I literally had to jump between the vehicles to keep from getting hit, and then just a big pileup, a big mess. You know, 12 or 13 vehicles, I think, total, once it was all over. So it's quite dangerous.
Joe knows his job on Interstate 80 can be risky. Every year, while carrying out their work, many repair mechanics and police officers fall victim to accidents. Such was the case in this recent video where a police officer is grazed by a lorry and narrowly escapes death. The worse the weather is, the greater the risk. So Joe is on the lookout for weather changes.
Snow showers, snow could be heavy at times, west wind around 7 miles per hour. 100% accumulation, 3 to 5 inches possible.
He also checks the state of the roads thanks to surveillance cameras managed by the California Department of Transportation.
Right now, this is blue. If we want to look up right at the summit right now, this is what Castle Peak looks up like at Boreal right now. So you can see the road's quite covered. Traffic's moving, which is good. Not likely there's going to be any major kind of accidents.
What's the main reason for a big crash accident usually?
Definitely speed and just how slippery the roads are. People driving too fast for the conditions.
With chains on, the speed limit in the state of California is 50 kilometers per hour. But most drivers are holidaymakers with little respect for the rules of the road.
Another day in paradise.
Alex is one of Joe's 4 employees. For him, the main problem on the road is the lack of awareness of drivers.
Yeah, they see like snow, like they see on the, you know, like on all like the movies and stuff. They're like, oh, snow, Christmas, and everything. so lovely, but when they get here, it's just like the opposite. It's nice once they get to their destination, if they can get there.
Alex was called to a small accident on a minor road.
Guys okay?
Yeah. Good?
When he arrives, he finds the car in a tricky spot.
How's it going? I'm Alex.
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you, man. Yeah, you guys are high-centered on some snow, huh?
Yeah.
Cool, yeah. I'm gonna take some photos all the way around and then we'll get started.
Yeah, sure. The driver is calling the insurance, so it's on the phone with insurance. So like, just do whatever and then like,
okay.
We'll be done.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
The man and his friend are from Silicon Valley, a technology mecca located south of San Francisco. It's the first time they've been to this area. The driver was driving too fast and skidded off the road. Even though he had chains on his car, the vehicle crashed into a snowdrift.
Whoa, look at these chains. These are some alien chains. I've never seen those before.
We were just coming up downhill, and we have a little bit traction, lose control, and we slide a little bit here. And then our friends coming a long way, and he also loses controls in the SUV, and he hit us and pushed us back towards into the snow, so we got stuck here.
Did you get scared?
We were not scared because it was pretty minor, but the punch, pretty much, we got a little bit shocked.
Ricky, the way it's been stuck?
This road, like, see, if you look back behind you, it's pretty steep and it churns. So like when they were churning, so guess every time you turn your wheel, your front end slides over. That's what happened to these guys.
They got out with no injuries, only a little shocked. Now Alex is going to have to tow this electric car. The problem is, this model doesn't have a lot of attachment points for tow trucks.
Pull this guy out.
There's one detail that is important. The more time Alex spends on towing the car, the higher the bill. The service is paid by the hour.
This. Pop this hubcap off. Then we'll just go straight around this wheel.
After 30 minutes,
yeah, turn the wheel to the right. Yeah, there you go.
the mechanic succeeds.
And he's on the ground. Time for the real damage. The price.
I was gonna ask, how much does it cost for something like this?
So it's $344 per hour from when I left my yard to when I get back to my yard. So it took 45 minutes to get here, about a half hour to pull it out, and gotta charge 45 minutes to get back. So we'll see. I'll do some math real quick.
It is best not to crash in the heart of the Sierra Nevada. Due to the bad weather and the risks involved, this part of California has the highest price for breakdown assistance. This driver found out the hard way. He had to pay almost 600 euros for this service.
Quick payment. All right, man, so we got 2 hours total time.
Yeah.
So 688.
Lower than my expectation.
Yeah, sorry, man. 1 hour cost.
A hefty bill. In winter, Alex can tow up to 4 cars a day. Thanks to this, the company's annual turnover is almost 1.8 million. Watching over drivers at Donner Pass is far from easy. The local road guardian angels know this all too well, the fire brigade. Fire Station 97 is located at an altitude of 2,000 meters above sea level. Jameson and Nathan are on call for 48 hours straight. 2 days in which they'll have to work in freezing temperatures at a rate of 3 interventions a day. Therefore, these two professionals have to keep fit at all times.
always stay in shape because of certain calls we get. We get a lot of backcountry calls, which means hikers, snowmobilers, winter, summer get hurt out in the wilderness, you know, so we got to be able to hike out there with all of our gear.
At this fire station, 6 firefighters take turns. In winter, assistance is available 7 days a week because instead of paramedics who are too far from the mountains, these firefighters respond to emergencies. So Nathan and Jason are ready for any situation.
So these are electric hydraulic, called e-hydraulic tools. They're used for extrication on really severe vehicle accidents. These ones are for stabilizing vehicles, so if they're in a precarious position and maybe it's teetering on some vegetation or obviously up here with the snow.
On I-80, where anything is possible, the fire brigade covers an area of 1,600 kilometers. For example, on this day, a collision occurred 20 kilometers from here. Reportedly, several cars were involved.
So this says possibly 4 vehicles with the big rig and possibly non-injury. So first thing we're gonna do when we get on scene is try to block the scene, keep it as safe as we can.
At the scene, there's car debris on the ground. Only 2 vehicles instead of 4 were involved. A collision between a pickup truck and a camper van.
You guys are good? You don't want to go to the hospital at all? No, I don't think so. You don't want to be checked out? No, I'd probably be sick. Okay, so no medical eval, no hospital? No. Okay.
No injuries. It was the driver of the camper van who lost control. The other driver knows exactly why it happened.
It ain't bad if you pay attention. Everybody says the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit don't mean nothing. That's the problem.
The accident could have been worse. However, the firemen spotted a suspicious leak under the camper van.
Yeah, so right now we have a fluid leak coming out from under the engine compartment of the vehicle. So if this gets in the waterways, it could damage agricultural life and fish and stuff like that. So what we want to do is we want to cover it with kitty litter. Sounds kind of weird, but the kitty litter will absorb all of the fluid and really pick all that bad stuff up, and then we'll be able to scoop it away so it doesn't get out in the rivers and streams and stuff like that.
A few minutes is all it takes to deal with the incident. The only thing remaining is towing the damaged vehicles, but there's a problem.
You probably need a tow truck for this?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you're good, sir. Just be careful right around this corner. There's supposedly some more accidents.
Okay, they're just around the corner.
Yeah, so just go real slow down through here. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
But there's another 4 to 6 car accident further down the road, so it's gonna be a while. They're gonna run out of tow trucks. And it's just a resource problem as far as having enough resources to clear all these accidents at times like this.
It's an accident involving a lot of people. Here it is. A pileup, also caused by speeding. Once again, miraculously, no one was injured. The fire brigade didn't need to intervene.
That looks like 3 vehicles spun out with the big rig. No real damage, but a lot of these crashes just happen slowly. You know, you start sliding out, people can't move out of the way.
Every year, Interstate 80 is the scene of spectacular pileups. This amateur video speaks for itself. The oncoming cars are unable to brake on the icy road. Colliding with the lorries is inevitable. For several long minutes, it's a disaster. Another pileup made its mark on the 23rd of December 2022. 50 cars crashed into each other. Here's shocking footage filmed by local police. Four people were killed, but the toll could have been much higher. The cause was a sudden snowstorm, the bane of road users. 2 men take this opportunity to embark on an unusual road trip. A 2-hour drive from Donner Pass is the town of Chico. Here, it is a few days before it snowed. Todd and his son Michael aren't road workers. The father is an estate agent, and his son is a geography student. At this time of year, they keep a close eye on the weather forecast every day.
This is where we would want to be, right at around 1 p.m. as it just shifts east. Yep. I mean, Reno's going to get in on the action too.
Yeah, totally going to get in the action.
I feel like they've had one of their bigger winters in this year.
The two men have an unusual passion. They're storm chasers.
Yeah, seeing that cold air that's just drawing down from the Gulf of Alaska, it's getting curled right in with the center of the low right there. And it's just diving right in.
Their portfolio of amazing photos and videos includes tornadoes, forest fires, or snowstorms. They sell these to a media company, a common hobby in the United States.
Especially this day and age with climate change. I mean, there's so much impactful weather all across the globe, especially here in California. Especially with the winter that we've gotten and, what could be a really bad fire season in the fall. There's going to be a lot of high demand.
Starting at the summit and then...
Todd's love of extreme weather started when he was a child and was naturally passed on to his son. Since then, the two of them have been searching for the most impressive photos, even if it means taking risks.
As soon as I got my license and I had a little Honda Civic, 1980 Honda Civic, I got chains for it so I could throw the chains on and start heading up into the mountains. And I would drive on backcountry roads in snowstorms. I drove my mom nuts. Still to this day, she gets worried. She texts me all the time, "You guys aren't going up to that snowstorm, are you?" Yes, we are. We're in it right now, by the way.
It's exciting, especially when you lose visibility that bad, and you'll definitely get the adrenaline pumping.
An ace team who is far from being reckless, they prepare for each expedition in advance.
You want to get me the gloves?
Yeah, first aid kit.
They will risk getting stuck in the snow for days and nights.
Some bags. Got the rope.
Got
and
the chains.
Shovel. You want to grab the shovel? Okay.
That's it.
We're good.
We're good to go.
Todd and Michael have decided to go to the Sierras. The weather forecast has announced that the region is going to be hit by a blizzard that will go down in history.
Yeah, driving out here into the mountains, you would just see dozens of large trucks waiting off on the side of the road because they probably knew that once you got to Colfax, the road is shut down to all traffic.
February 2023. The United States is facing a gigantic snowstorm that is affecting the whole of California, which is an extremely rare occurrence.
Powerful storm on the west coast. Yosemite National Park is closed indefinitely after getting 15 feet of snow, and crews are working round the clock in Gold Run.
An event that made headlines around the world.
To try to clear the road.
100,000 people left without power. Roofs that collapsed under the weight of the snow.
The snow is beautiful, but this much is also dangerous. South Lake Tahoe shares these images of a warehouse on Melba Avenue. Heavy snow flattening the building, leaving just one wall standing.
The streets of the town of Truckee disappeared under 3 meters of snow. An incredible sight for residents.
Every time it happens, it's almost brand new. Because it's about every 10 years that you really get like a gnarly storm event where you're...
However, an exceptional storm means constant danger on the roads, enough to worry a certain man.
Yeah, I'm at Castle. It's moving slow.
Pete LeBrentz is the boss of the local DOT, the California Department of Transportation. His job is to keep an eye on the traffic situation and the safety of drivers.
I don't think I'd be filming.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm okay.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm just letting all of these guys go through.
Okay, yeah.
On this stormy day, the road is packed with drivers in distress.
That's the last one.
This driver has skidded on the snowy road and is now stuck.
I'm gonna push you and get you going, all right? But don't hit your brakes. You just put it in low gear, and if you hit your brakes, you're just gonna slide right back to where you're at again, okay? Yeah, just go slow, just a little bit on the throttle, you'll be fine, okay? So I'm gonna give you a push.
Pete manages to get the vehicle out, but the road is almost undrivable, and the driver clearly doesn't have the necessary skills. He goes straight back into the ditch, much to the dismay of the DOT officer. It was impossible for him to get out of the ditch on his own. Fortunately, a passing police patrol called a tow truck.
He's gonna load you up. He's gonna get you out of here, okay?
This driver is saved, but it's just the start of a long series of drivers panicking in the snow. Pete has to help another vehicle.
Let's go!
And he's getting impatient.
Come on! You wanna fucking hang out there? Fucking hang out there, you fucking doofus.
After a few minutes, the vehicle is ready to set off, yet again increasing the number of inexperienced drivers on the road.
They were buried too much and didn't have their wheels turned correctly and just pushed them in the snowbank.
The DOT boss senses that the situation could quickly become unmanageable. He will have to close the road.
Yeah, you're gonna probably have to come up the wrong way. I'm nowhere close to 60 and we're stopped.
The snow here is notoriously wet and heavy, making it very slippery and increasing the risks.
Well, the typical people don't know how to drive. They slow down, slam on their brakes, slide down into the low side. And then when we were there, obviously you could not see anything, so decided to close the road completely. That's the other indicators. Closing the road is when I have to stop because I can't see. It's a good time to close the road.
A decision with far-reaching consequences. It is now urgent to evacuate the cars that have already passed the chain checkpoint and found themselves on an ice rink.
And you guys are just gonna go slow. Don't slam on your brakes. All right?
In their lingo, they call them in-betweeners, people stuck between two exits. If they're not evacuated, these drivers risk spending the entire night in their cars in the freezing cold. Guaranteed hypothermia.
Hey, where'd you come from? How'd you get up here?
Such is the case of Mexican holidaymakers who are not at all used to extreme conditions.
How'd you get here?
They let us in because we gotta get to the airport.
All right. Okay, I will fix that. Hey, how come we're letting a Tesla through to get to the airport? They had no chains on, they were just chaining up there about power line.
The tension mounts as the storm intensifies. Pete needs the help of his whole team. Along Interstate 80, 200 highway patrols were deployed to help drivers, and some of them had to go all out.
Start making your way westbound. You got one at 60.
10-4.
Trevor is one of the only officers who can drive the DOT truck. He prioritizes helping heavy goods vehicles because he knows that in the event of a heavy snowfall, certain areas are impassable for lorries.
It is notorious for spinouts when people drive way too fast. And then right after this curve, there's a pretty steep incline. And a lot of times, big rigs can't get traction. We get a lot of customers right here.
The proof presents itself a few minutes later. A lorry is stopped on the road.
Oh, wow. Holy shit. Like this guy, he's gonna need to be pushed.
The police are already trying to push this lorry that, despite wearing chains, cannot get up the hill due to its weight. The DOT officer is the only one who can get the driver out of this predicament.
A what?
I'm checking to see if he's got an eyelet.
Usually they're under the hood.
Yeah, I don't know.
The traffic is slowed down and the police officers are letting other drivers pass through so as not to create a traffic jam. They have to pull this 38-ton lorry by attaching a hook to the front wheel. It's the only way for the lorry to get up the very steep slope. A strange series of events is taking place on the road. The policemen have become a breakdown service for a day.
It's really forcing itself to keep pulling forward. It's being a dog right now, though, so it hasn't failed me yet. As long as it doesn't, we'll be fine.
4 kilometers further on, this less risky area becomes the lorry's drop-off point.
Yep, no problem. You be safe, man.
The lorry driver who has to get to Los Angeles has fallen way behind on his journey. He can't take it anymore.
This is the craziest highway in the US. This year, it is very hard, From last 10 or 15 days, this is unexpected.
Stopping the traffic on the highway impacts the trucker's job. But that's not all. The whole economy gets disrupted. At DOT headquarters, Randy is one of the managers supervising traffic.
Whitey's on the old road.
Every winter, he's worried about closing down the main routes since they're used for transporting goods in California.
One of the largest vegetable producers in the United States. So everything either goes out Highway 10 through LA or up to I-5 out up to the north, but mostly everything comes out of 80 and heads and gets distributed out throughout the United States.
Every hour, 4.7 million euros worth of goods are transported on I-80. Closing the road means many shops aren't supplied as they don't get their goods delivered.
We were shut down for over 7 hours a few days ago, so we started getting a lot of calls on from higher ups on why we're not open and why we're not moving. But we can only do what we can do. Mother Nature's in control of it.
Mother Nature isn't going to make it easy for them. Every hour, 5 centimeters of snow falls on the ground, turning the situation on the road into a disaster.
G15, 7232.
Randy is on patrol to help drivers in distress, and the road has many surprises in store for him. He spots a man on the side of the road tangled up in his chains.
Any of you knew I was going to need your help? But I paid somebody to install them. And they tore up my whole front end.
Right.
Isn't the way you guys could at least tell me how to do it?
I can't touch them, but I can tell you how.
Yeah, that's why I'll get it.
Randy doesn't have the authority to put the chains on. He's helping the driver as best he can. The man is obviously not in his right mind.
His car is inoperable. He says the chains did all that, but that's not what happened. So.
The real problem here is in his pipe. There's no tobacco, but marijuana, which the man proudly displays on social media. Unable to get his car back on the road, a tow truck came to the rescue. It's a crazy situation that Randy is getting more and more used to.
All right, Sandy, you can open the road.
Marijuana has been legal in California since 2016.
Since the legalization of it, people, let's face it, everybody smokes a little pot in their car. But here, every time, a good amount of the time we open up a door or assist somebody, it smells like marijuana. Just like they're smoking a cigarette, people feel it's not that big a deal. Until you get caught.
With such bad weather, the slightest carelessness at the wheel, whether or not it's due to taking drugs, can lead to a skid. The longer cars stay on the side of the road, the greater the risk of a pileup. So Randy has to get drivers back on their way as quickly as possible. Such is the case of this car stuck in the snow.
Yeah, I'll just try to get you out of the bank so you can get straight and get going. Right.
In a few seconds, Randy manages to get the car out of the ditch. The driver will continue on his way and exit the motorway under police surveillance.
We're no longer in a nice little powder pack of snow. We're now on an ice ring. So we're gonna get rid of the ice ring and hope for the best.
To get rid of the snow, highway officials are counting on an important ally. The snowblowers go into action. It's up to them to clear away the thick layer and make a new road. Dennis is behind the controls. He can clear 80 tons of snow a minute.
Yeah, it takes practice to try to drive a straight line, make it look nice, make sure you don't hurt somebody or hit a car.
The man knows that time is of the essence, but today nothing is going to happen as planned. Already after a few minutes, something goes wrong.
Oh, hit something.
Apparently, something is blocking the whole mechanism.
You can see it's broken, snow stuffed in there. And if you zoom in right there, there's a chain back in that corner. And if you come over here, it looks like we swallowed a guide marker. I didn't see that, might have been buried in the snow. So now we're gonna have to call for help, and they'll turn the reel to try to get the chain out. Hey, Carlos. Hey, I got a chain in the reel at the Kingville crossover. Can you come give us a hand to get it going? Alrighty, see you in a few. All right, bye.
Now it's the snowblower's turn to be rescued. 20 minutes later, a colleague arrives to help Dennis out of his predicament.
All right, Carlos. We got a chain back in that back right there.
The pickup has to pull the snowblower, a 20-ton machine. The aim is to get it moving to release the chain.
Nope. Let's try a different spot. Okay, try right there.
They have to try several times. After a few minutes, success.
There it is. That did it. All right. Sweet, thank you. All right, now we're gonna put the shear pins in and get back rolling.
The chain and signpost cost Dennis over 40 minutes.
It's kind of a challenge how much you can get done in one shift with the breakdowns and everything. And
while some people are struggling to cope with the snowstorm, others revel in it. A few kilometers away at the top of Donner Pass, we meet up with the Stormchasers. It's out of the question for them to miss taking a picture of the year.
Just be careful. It looks like there's a pretty good drift on the left as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Let's stick it right here.
Michael and Todd's aim is to show the state of the road and its dangers. To achieve this, the father and son risked their lives on this snow-covered road.
If you do something wrong, you could end up in a drift. You could end up off a cliff area because there's some areas that have some pretty steep banks. Or you could end up in the Yuba River if it really goes wrong. You don't want that.
Painfully, the two men make progress. Each photo can earn them 700 euros, so they spare no effort. The shots they're looking for are snow-clearing machines in action, and, above all, the road disappearing under the snow. It's minus 30 degrees outside with wind gusts of up to 170 kilometers per hour. Apocalyptic weather that doesn't scare Michael.
This is awesome. Just experiencing Mother Nature. I mean, this is when it's at its most intense for the Sierra in the winter. This is a job that I just absolutely love, and I wouldn't trade anything for it. This is just my life.
Michael and Todd want to take as many photos as possible, but the sword of Damocles is hanging over their heads. Their car could break down, or crash due to the snowy conditions.
If you don't have food or water, that, could have serious implications. So that's why you always have to be prepared when you're traveling over the mountains, especially when you have winter conditions like this.
The two enthusiasts spent over 6 hours on the dangerous roads of the Sierra Nevada. The day seems endless in this infernal snowstorm. It's 5 p.m. It'll be dark soon, and Trevor, one of the DOT officers, is on his 20th call. This group of friends has their vehicle stuck in a snowdrift. Trevor has to get it out.
We lost the chain, and the guy plowed everything over it, so it's very tough.
For once, no one is stressed. On the contrary, the situation seems to amuse the group a lot.
Just get in and put the car in drive, but hold the brake.
Okay.
So the wheel does not spin.
The towing even turns into a fun experience.
Sledding for free.
Clearly, the snowstorm didn't scar all drivers. It will still be hours before the highway is completely empty. It remained closed for more than 10 hours. The next day, traffic was back in full swing, but the storm had left its mark. Cars are struggling to start, and that's not the only problem. Alex is one of the employees of the largest repair companies in the town of Truckee. He's barely started his shift, and he's already got a job lined up.
So, first call of the day, we're gonna go pull some car up an embankment. They said it's about 20 feet down. We'll see what happens.
The car in question is barely visible, hidden under this mound of snow since the day before.
Car overboard. Put some cones out just to be safe.
This elderly lady is the driver. She lost control of the vehicle in the storm and fled on foot. She was scared for her life.
The fog was so bad that I couldn't see, and I had to go like this on the steering wheel, and I could barely see the windshield. And then all of a sudden, the car went over here.
Her daughter-in-law wanted to come with her. She admits that the car wasn't equipped to cope with the snow.
I told her to get snow tires, and they sold her those.
That's probably why she slid off the road.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why yesterday my husband was like, because we've been telling her for a year that we're like, you need snow tires. These are terrible tires. Because I have really good ones, and I slide sometimes, but not that much.
The accident happened on a minor road where the sand spreaders didn't pass. Alex doesn't feel safe with his intervention. He asks the police to secure the scene.
But as of right now, we don't need a whole block. I just probably need the one lane. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll see you in a bit. Okay. Okay, bye. Yay, we got Truckee PD coming.
The mechanic doesn't waste time. He knows that extracting this car could take a long time, as it has ended up in a fence.
These J-hooks to the lower control arms. Ooh, barbed wire. One hook in.
Alex has to do it several times. The car is totally blocked by the weight of the snow.
Barbed wire fencing post? I don't even know. Looks like it's been here for a century. It's like pulling Excalibur out. Ah! All right, both hooks in. So I think what we'll do is I'll back my truck up and pull it that way.
After 30 long minutes, he manages to get the car out, and miraculously, it's intact.
I don't see any oil leak or anything.
I know, it doesn't even look bad.
The cost of the job is €500 plus an unforgettable scare.
Car I felt so sorry for. I could hardly sleep last night. I felt so sorry for it being out here. It's sort of like a baby. Thank you so very much.
Take care. Be careful pulling out when you guys pull out of here.
This woman as well, but others have not been so lucky. On the roads of California, a man went through hell trapped in his car on the 24th of February, 2023. A story that made the media headlines.
What an extraordinary story of survival. Your 81-year-old grandfather living on croissants and candy for nearly a week while stuck in the snow. How is he doing right now?
Better than anybody could have expected. He's doing actually really, really well.
This historic storm of 2023 left its mark on the United States. Across 9 states, around 50 people lost their lives in terrible road accidents.